Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next webinar of Strong Women in IT. Strong Women in IT is a project that aims to integrate, promote, and empower women in tech. Every second year, we publish a report about amazing, hardworking, wonderful, strong women in IT, women at C-level and managerial positions in tech companies. Every month, we organize webinars when we invite those wonderful women to talk about their business, different area of this business and industry. And today we are going to talk about health industry because health industry is absolutely breathtaking and changing the way we look at diseases, changing the way we at the moment can control our health and body and our lifestyle. And today our guest, wonderful guest, will tell us more about how this industry is changing, where it's going, about the challenges they face, their clients. So without further ado, please meet Anna Olieri from BioXplor. Hello, Anna.
Hi, Anita. It's nice to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. Natalia Sowa, Head of Marketing at UPacjenta. Hello, Natalia.
Hello, everyone.
And Joanna Kasprzak, CEO at Apsumi. Hello.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
So, ladies, I'm so happy that we finally managed to organize this webinar and we can talk about the way digital health or health tech industry is shaping nowadays the way we live. And I hope we'll talk more about how it's going to look like in the future. So, Natalia, can you start and tell us more about what's your company is doing, what's your business, and who is your client?
Sure. So UPacjenta is a digital health platform where people can order blood tests to their homes whenever and how they want. And we are at the market for over 4 years. Right now, we performed over 300,000 tests. So we are shaping the healthcare in Poland, and we want to promote preventive healthcare and encourage people to take care of their health and invest in preventive blood tests. So that's basically UPacjenta. And our customers, we have both B2C and B2B services. So B2C, our customers are mostly parents and people who want to invest in their health, but also like elderly people or people with chronic diseases or any health problems. And in the B2B segment, our clients are mostly HR representatives who want to organize some health actions at their company.
Great. So you represent one kind of approach to bio or digital health. Joanna, can you tell us about your company and what Apsumi is doing for your clients and what are you doing in this company?
Sure. So in Apsumi, we are, of course, a software house. So we are actually delivering products for our clients, building application in digital health, but also in wellness areas. And our role in this process is first to, let's say, suggest and advise regarding technology, but also due to the fact we are in this market for nearly 10 years, I think our 10th anniversary would be in February, we are also used as consultants, right? So we have delivered so many projects in the field that we can give advice, we can suggest, we know the trends on the markets and can be a partners for many of our clients. And what we built web and mobile applications in medtech, in digital health, in wellness, fitness. And one of our, let's say, elements of our business is also augmented and virtual reality, which is a little bit, let's say, new and innovative way to bring it to digital health. And yeah, we are trying to deliver products with this technology as well to hospitals, to patients monitoring.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I disappeared for a moment.
Oh,
I
yeah,
had some internet connection issues, but yeah.
That might be the issue with your internet, but I believe, if I may continue. So exactly. So web, mobile,
Yes,
and augmented virtual reality applications for patients, for hospitals, for doctors, but also for people who are taking care of their health by I don't know, introducing a healthy lifestyle, doing a lot of activities, monitoring their parameters, and so on. Our clients, we were starting those 10 years ago locally here in Poland, working basically with insurance companies, with companies serving for these insurance companies, for example, for booking visits in Polish clinics. But after a few years, we decided to go abroad, and now most of our clients are in the US and UK, also here in Oslo, where I am at the moment. So Scandinavia is also the country we work for a lot. Yeah, I believe this is us. So the mission here is to improve people's life and health.
Great. I think you will have tons of insights of how this industry looks like right now. So Anna, tell us more about BioXplor.
Yeah, sure. So BioXplor is a big data analytics platform where we structure and analyze various types of biomedical data, and then we create actionable data outputs to support decision-making in drug discovery, as well as supporting and improving patient outcomes. So we built and validated our technology with pharmaceutical and companies and academia. We also validated it via multiple projects with big pharma, and some of our outputs from those projects progressed to phase 2 and 3 clinical trials. So we already know that the digital approach to analysis of such data is very valuable, and is already can bring some solutions and to the patients. So yeah, we've been in the market for almost 6 years. We've been operating in Europe and USA, so our customers are based in both locations. And yeah, so currently a lot of interest for such a digital solutions since COVID pandemic start shifting the focus from the I guess traditional approaches to drug discovery to a more innovative and a digital approach. So yeah, we are getting a lot of inquiries about how we do things and how we approach the data and what we can do with it. So it looks like Anita has disappeared.
Only for a moment. She's back.
So yeah, I am back. I am back. Yeah, I am back. So yes. So ladies, honestly, I must say that before the pandemic hit, I was really reserved to digital health. I was thinking, maybe in future, maybe someday, but the pandemic really make it rapidly, the implementation, and myself, use a lot of different application, different solution connected with digital health. Do you see also this change that pandemic help your business grow? Because Natalia, you mentioned that when pandemic hit, the number of orders, just went rapidly up. So maybe let's start with Natalia. Do you think that pandemic help you to grow faster? And do you think that there are also maybe the war in Ukraine is somehow helping you to grow?
Well, I would say that pandemic definitely had an impact on our business Firstly, because people started to order on-demand services such as, I don't know, food online or Uber, etc. So like people moved to ordering things online. And that's why it was easier to convince them that ordering blood tests online is also a great solution for them, especially that some people had to stay at home because of COVID. And also we had to very quickly adjust our business, and we started offering COVID tests, at-home COVID tests. And it also helped many people during the pandemic because they couldn't leave their house and they could order our services online. So yeah, I would say it definitely had an impact. And right now, war in Ukraine, of course, also is shaping market in Poland. And I think like economic situation is difficult. So we are trying really hard to convince people that our service is still needed and that taking care of their health is still important, and it's not something they should neglect because of the economic situation. So that's how it affects u pacjenta.
Is it again?
Yeah, I think Anita is frozen again. So
Okay.
maybe
I can follow.
Yeah, can you follow?
Yeah, so maybe I can continue. Well, we had very similar observations. For sure, I can tell how it was on global market, in particular in US or in UK. Pandemic affects it really, let's say, to the big extent. What happened is actually people couldn't go to hospitals to visit their doctors. So all the services we were building, like booking visits and so on, actually wanted to add video calls or any kind of audio communication with between doctors and patients, and bring actually everything to digital. So it started with video calls, and video calls was the most popular service to be added to I don't know, the hospital systems, to monitoring systems, and so on and so forth. And that was the big peak of interest in our clients. And I believe that mostly to all products we've been delivering earlier, we were adding these video calls and everything related to it, so that patients and doctors can communicate without on-site visits. Another trend during pandemic was remote monitoring. So doctors staying in the hospital wanted to be in touch with their patients because they couldn't get to the office. The technology was helping in the way that, for example, I don't know, patient was at home with some wearable or with some mobile application, and their health, their rehabilitation, or whatever the app was aimed to serve, was monitoring the basic parameters or the rehab or the therapy. And if something was identified, something bad, the doctor was informed about it and could react and either invite to the hospital or to the clinic, or actually use the video call service. And now, according to the crisis, to the economic situation and the war, I think this is even getting harder. So we already have the services to communicate between doctors and patients. Patients have those monitoring tools. But the challenge is, for sure, in US, this is, I think, the most significant change I observe, that the costs of care are increasing dramatically, right? So more and more people do not have enough money to pay. It used to be expensive there for years, right? But they predict it's going to be even more expensive. So people try to actually take care of their health as much as they can themselves, right? So they start to wear more and more wearables to monitor their health themselves, to actually take care of their health, be more active, track what they eat and how it affects their condition. but also to use, let's say, tools that are guiding them how to improve their health, whether parameters are okay or not, right? So to detect very early that something might be wrong. And probably the next trend would be that even though the services are getting more and more expensive, number of patients actually will get bigger, right? Because all the societies are getting older, and due to this fact, we are actually having more and more patients in hospitals, and the number of doctors actually is not getting proportionally bigger. So this is another thing we have to address, and technology is helping there. Yeah. Well, I said a lot, so maybe I will stop here.
Wonderful. You know, Joanna, yeah, I am so impressed, and thank you, because I have some issues within the internet, that you ran this webinar without me almost, you know. So you are a wonderful guest, you know what to say. So thank you. So Anna, when you think about your business, can you tell us, is it possible that, you know, the number of data grow because of the pandemic, and because of that, your data and your measurements are more precise?
As far as I know, and the latest statistics, I think every minute there's a new publication being published, scientific publication. So data is definitely exponentially growing. And not only that, the population of the globe is growing. I think it's almost reached 8 billion people. So we do need move away from legacy systems that may be stuck in mid last century, and everything that people been trained on, it's kind of still there. So the technology is definitely taking a big leap into, I guess, a new way of doing business. And just talking about pharmaceutical industry, it's one of the biggest, I guess, failure industry of any of them. There's over 95% failure rate, mainly because there's one approach, one drug fits all, but we are so different. So we really need to have a personalized approach of how we do things, and how we design our medicine, and how the medicine is being administered by the doctors. So to structure and analyze and understand all this information about how our bodies work, and how, I guess, what kind of medication we can give to our bodies. I think the digital solutions are the way forward. Structuring everything, working with data from previous data. So the only data we can analyze, it's what's already been produced. So that's a data which is very valuable. And also there's a new trend coming up that people start sharing their own personal medical records, and this will only grow, and that will definitely fuel a new generation of how we look at health. It's going to be moving towards this personalized approach, where everything is going to be tailored and designed specifically for you. Yeah, that's where I think the industry is shifting.
But that's also the trend for the medicine itself, right? So we hear for years about personalized medicine, about sequencing the genome for the therapy. Well, as a bioinformatician, I can say that this is huge challenge, right? Not only for medicine itself, for technology, but also from ethical point of view, and that we came to the stage where actually for the medical purposes, one can edit your genome and fix the damage, right? So totally game changer.
And the costs are rapidly going down. So if you look back, it took a lot of years, and I think over $1 billion to sequence the genome. So Greg Venter done it fast. It was privately done with private funding. So now those costs rapidly are dropping down, so to I think $200. So in the future, I think it might be a standard test to do your sequencing, analyze your outputs, and there should be some sort of software solutions available, and digital solutions, of course, to input that data and give the output for the doctor who can recommend the best treatment options. So I think it's moving there. Maybe clinic is about 10-15 years behind on what's happening in the market right now, but there's definite shift, and this is how pharmaceuticals and healthcare executives are thinking right now.
Yeah, I wanted to say that the shift is also psychological. So Anita, you mentioned before that you were scared to use like telemedicine and online medical services. So I think many people had that too. And during the pandemic, they had to actually use these services. So they learned how to do this, and they also finally saw the value of it. So they don't have to go to the doctor and like spend time in public facilities. So they saw the value, and the change is also that they know already that public healthcare is broken. It's not working how it should be working. So people started being more proactive about their health. That's why they are using wearables. That's why they are using data analysis, etc., to understand better their health, to monitor their health, and to act before something will happen. Like actually, people, I think, are trying to prevent diseases, not like act when something already bad is happening. And I think it's a huge shift, and it's a really good change for digital healthcare industry.
I can even say that something that we were wishing for, like video calls or actually electronic medical documentation for years, right? We were waiting for it, and it couldn't happen. During the pandemic, it was like that. So even governments were supporting it. Maybe I don't know how exactly it happened in Poland, but for example, in US, for this worst period of pandemic, they even went a little bit down with regulations. So those applications were used even wider than they are at the moment, or they used to be earlier. Just because the need was so big, and people started really using technology for consulting. So this is huge change. And in Poland, the same happened, right? Now you do not go to the doctor for the prescription. You can just do the phone call, and you have the code on your phone. So this is amazing change.
Yeah, but there is one risk like this, I think, and I wanna ask you about this risk, that we will be too open to share our data, because we'll have wearables everywhere, rings, iWatches, different apps. So we will be measuring everything, and you can go crazy with it. That's one point. And on the other, the GDPR aspects, about the privacy, about the, Anna mentioned a bit of it, that we soon will be openly saying what type of blood we have, and etc. So there are these two risks. So too big openness to sharing your data, and on the other hand, too much data analysis of what happened inside your body. So Anna, when someone tells you that they are using different wearables, different apps, different tools to measure their health, do you have some concerns, or do you say yes, please use it freely?
I think you can approach this question from different angles. So first of all, I think, yes, there's people always afraid of the privacy, why maybe information will get into the wrong hands. And on our side, without this data analytics, you cannot move to technology and health tech forward. So I think there's a fine line between what to do, but I think there are a lot of very good solutions available. So first of all, you can identify the patient records and still analyze the information. So there are systems and technologies
like
available.
Make it anonymous, yes? Make it anonymous, yeah.
Exactly. So maybe you can just identify it to point as a token, so you can only see the data that can be structured and analyzed to produce some actionable outputs that could be used for drug discovery or any decision support down the same line. And also, European government already signed on a few regulations in the last couple of years, allowing European citizens to openly share their medical data. And I think it is important for people to realize that they have an option of what to share and what not to share. And I think the market is slowly shifting to actually, you know what, maybe it's good to share because there's systems that can protect their identity and privacy. So it's moving slowly. I think it will still take a few years. In America, they are more open. People are more open to share the data. European citizens are still quite reserved. But I think soon I think the shift will happen.
Joanna, do you have some remarks you would like to add? What do you think about this over application approach or over analysis of your blood pressure, temperature, etc.?
So for the systems we are developing, this is usually starting from the clinic or from the doctor, right? So doctor is actually initiating the product, right? So they are recommending specific application, specific device to monitor. And by this, in this path, patient can feel secure, right? Because someone who is aware of what kind of data are monitored, how they are secured, is a person of trust, right? Because this is your doctor, your therapist, and so on. And in this case, I totally, let's say, agree, right? So people are aware and they probably are informed. What do they share? Why do they share? And how this information is secured? Another level above of this are, let's say, global regulations, right? So in US, we have HIPAA, and here in Europe, we have GDPR. I'm a little bit afraid of everything that happens, let's say, in Asia, for example, when these regulations are not yet there yet. And when you start, let's say, using some of the applications, sharing data, the regulations are not that strict as here, where we really have to follow. So when building the software, when doing the tracking, we really need to follow a lot of regulations, including infrastructure, including code, including practices, including informing patients. But not all countries are there yet. So
that's what I wanted to add. I think the responsibility is not only for consumers, but also for the healthcare companies and for companies like yours, Asia, producing the software, because I think companies had to remember not only about their interests, but also about the security and about the security of their patients, right? So I think the responsibility should be on both sides.
And that's what I actually see. So when people come to us, I mean, the companies who want to build the product, they basically are looking for companies, IT companies who have experience in delivering application in this particular field. So in digital health, in medtech or whatever, because companies like ours have the knowledge and let's say experience and are aware of the consequences, right? If something happens. And we are living in the world where actually IT security is a big topic and the most significant risk raised, right? So we need to be aware how important these data are. Actually, medical data are treated as critical data, right? So everybody wants to have them. In particular, I don't know, insurance company would probably kill and pay any amount of money to get our records. If someone is building medical product, medical application, medical device, let's say, those companies are very aware of the consequences, and they are also audited, right? So, for example, well, I can say in Germany right now we are in the process of kicking off on the German market telemedicine application. And before you do it, before you make it live, you need to go through few months audit, right, when they are verifying everything from legal to the application itself, through code to infrastructure. And this is what actually gives me hope, right, that all these regulators, audits, and aware companies delivering software and companies building these I don't know, make it happen, and they do everything they can that this data is safe. But this is a challenge.
Yeah, but okay, you mentioned one thing.
Yeah.
That it takes months to audit your software, your app, etc.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that such startup has a limited budget, because time is money, especially when you are a startup.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an idea, you raise some funds and you have money for a certain period of time, and suddenly you have an information that you have to wait 6 months, because it will take with the legal stuff, with the all organization stuff, and you have to wait. So I think that this is one of the challenge that your clients are facing.
Yes.
So can you number more challenges that you see when you work with such a projects, with such a businesses?
Yeah. So first is actually the knowledge and awareness of what medical information is, how these health tech products actually work, what risk they bring regarding, for example, medical data, and how to manage this, how to store it, and how to make them secure. This is first. Second is actually the scalability, right? So regulations within the countries, even in Europe, are different. Sometimes even, for example, Italy is a great example. Within different regions, you have different regulations. And in one region, you have one sample of prescription, in the other, you have different. So, bring the solution that will meet those requirements, right? So knowledge about these regulations, about needs of patients, how the healthcare is organized is a big, let's say, piece of cake, right? You need to know this. The challenge is also to meet all those regulations, so to be aligned. This is not easy, right? You need to know what the regulations are, how to meet them. Also, for many products, in particular EHRs, right? So the systems that are managing medical documentation, you are audited, right? So I believe once a year by external companies, and twice a year internal audit that you need to run. So those are those external bodies that are controlling you as author of the application to align with all that. What else? So the security, the data standards, which is a big challenge for us. So I think it was mentioned here, right? In Poland, but also in US and UK, hospitals are using totally different products for their EHR, for example. Those products should use the same standards, like, I don't know, HL7 and so on. But it is very challenging to integrate all these data in one place and, for example, serve one application or, I don't know, panel for you as a patient, where you can see all data coming from all your products or all your history of health, right? You have been in one hospital, then you went to to another doctor, and you have one place to view these data, to see your prescriptions, to see your referrals, to see your chronic diseases. This has not happened yet, right? So far we have internetowe konto pacjenta, right? Something like that in Poland, but you see there, I don't know, prescriptions, referrals, and things like that. But there is no one central place where you have all history of health. And that's I believe also the direction where we are going, right? So holistic approach and gathering all this data in one standard that can be integrated between those systems, because we will not
Anna,
make it happen.
Yeah, thank you, Joanna. Anna, can you relate? Do you see exactly the same challenges, or do you see different, or maybe you can see that part of these challenges are similar to your business, or but you have also others?
I think Joanna mentioned the top challenges for sure. There are so many legacy systems that are so dispersed, and Europe with also different languages and different maybe the economical systems and how everything is working, how the patients are supported in those countries are very, very different. And it might be up to European Union to standardize certain elements to move this digital era forward. But yeah, as Joanna mentioned, it's very hard to structure and standardize all multiple data types. It is possible, but it's a big challenge. So you can actually work with that data, and everybody is thinking, or the common knowledge is data worth a lot of money, but unless you analyze and get a meaning out of that data and make it actionable, it's not really worth anything, you know? So I think there definitely has to be some sort of processes in place that will make this data easily available, and of course safe for people who can companies who can work and do something with it for the betterment of healthcare. Then yeah, there should be those systems should be implemented. But I think it might take years. It's not very easy, as Joanna mentioned. Yeah.
There were approaches, for example, in Poland, right? We have this P1 project that I believe, I don't know, it's 6-7 years already. And so far we delivered prescriptions referrals, but with history of health, it's very challenging, very challenging.
I heard that in Estonia we have a digital card. So I think as a small country, Estonia may be potentially, as an example for the rest of Europe, way more progressive in terms of
that's the only one
collecting the digital records and also giving an access to their citizens to share them if they want to share. So it might be good to watch Estonia and what they do with their approach to digitizing healthcare records for patients.
Exactly. But that's the trend we have mentioned.
Natalia,
right? So sorry.
Yeah, no problem. But now I would like to ask Natalia, because because she's sitting and looking at us, and I can imagine that she has completely different situation. But maybe I am wrong.
Yeah.
How it is? So tell us about how this looks like in your company.
Yeah, so I have more of a digital health startup perspective. So from the startup perspective, for us, the biggest challenge was to develop technology that will be in the line with how our business is growing. And developing technology and programming is very expensive. And it's becoming more and more expensive. And also it's really time consuming. So for us, we already have a huge list of features that we want to implement on our platform, but there is it's taking so much time that we have to prioritize and decide which functions, which elements of our application are the most crucial for us and for patients. And it's a huge challenge for us. But I think we are learning more and more how to do it in the right way. And also the other challenge is sustainable growth in the current economic situation. I think that in general, startup community is changing, and right now there is a focus that startups have to grow, but we have to do it in a responsible way and find the ways to achieve this growth in the right way. So not burning money on ads, etc., but prioritize which things are the most important for us, also when it comes to technology.
So Natalia, when you think about the future, because the subject of today's webinar is the future of health tech, because we mentioned about the potential trends. We mentioned about potential challenges. But when you think about your business, about this industry, how you see this in 2 and 5 years, let's say? I know everything can change because there are so many unpredictable events, so many these black swans, but I'm sure that you have some vision. Can you share us your vision of how health tech will look like in the future?
Of course. Our vision and our dream actually at UPacienta is to create a dashboard, patient's dashboard, that will be interactive, that will be like taking all the data that we have about this particular patient and give him personalized recommendations, like what test he should order, what doctor he should see, what should be the next date of his appointment, etc. So I think that thanks to AI, thanks to machine learning, we can achieve that. But of course, it's a huge technological challenge. But I think it's possible that we can do it. And the other dream is that we will have a health concierge. So it will be something different because we won't have online consultations with doctors. We will have specialists that will advise people not only about the tests, but also about their habits, how the diet should look like, etc. So I think this is the future. Like, we should use technology to help our patients and to combine the data and use it in a smart way.
One of our clients has an app, and this app was sell with a medicine. And every time this person took a medicine, there were some habits that he or she needed to follow, like exercise, sleep at least 6 hours, drink water, and they have to track these habits to have this medicine cheaper. And to have to work this medicine, to have the results of taking this. So I can absolutely imagine that such a situation will be in future. Anna, can UPacienta be your client in future? Because I see whether there's a connection between your vision, your business, and the vision of UPacienta. What's your vision of BioXplor?
I just will maybe talk from the point of view of the pharmaceutical industry and where it's heading and where we can fit our solution. Pharmaceutical industry is definitely restructuring now, so there's a lot of scaling down in terms of the employees, and the new way of how to approach things is augmented support in terms of the digital technologies, how to support it. And I see that big data analytics of the technology that we are providing will help pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies not only to shelf assets that have been sitting for many years and potentially repurpose them for the conditions and reevaluate and reanalyze the data that already been sitting there, and and also reposition some of the existing drugs. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are over 15,000 known diseases, and only half of them have applicable medication. So if we can reposition a lot of what already been sitting in silos and analyze the data and look at the data differently, then definitely there will be a big leap forward, not only for the digital technologies, but also for the patients who will avail of this new medication. And yes, I think we can definitely work with Natalia, because there's definitely overlap in terms of where we want to go, what we want to achieve. We want to, at the end of the day, empower the patient. There's not enough doctors' time to educate every single patient, and these digital solutions, and as Natalia mentioned, machine learning and AI that we've been using, and we build the technology for exactly the same purposes. Patient will be empowered with the data. They will have a data on their phone, and they can learn anything about their conditions and disease, and potential drugs that will work with their, genomic base. And I think this is where technology is moving. Might take definitely 5 years. It's not going to be a slow implementation, but I think it will come eventually. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, Joanna, what's your vision of the health tech industry?
Yeah, so well, for us in Abzumi, we will go where the trend goes, so where the customer goes, and we will adapt technology to solve these problems and improve health of patients. But where I see our future as a software company and how the technology can bring some solutions is first in let's say in those trends actually we mentioned, right? So AI and everything that goes with recommendations, gathering and unifying, standardizing data, which would be a big challenge because number of these data will grow probably significantly, and we will be the ones who need to cope with different standards and huge amount of data that needs to be analyzed and turn it into algorithms that can support diagnosis or whatever. And here, for example, the trend is for identification, I don't know, and monitoring, not monitoring, identification of, for example, breast cancer, right, from scans. This so far we already have algorithms that can do it as effective as doctors, and the more products like that will be developed, the better, right? Because the medicine can go there. The other one is further into monitoring, right? So as much as we can do with integrating with smart devices that are accurate enough to bring good resolution data and help diagnosis and monitor trends, the better, right? And what we're going to use, what kind of technology we're going to use is probably not that important, right? So it doesn't matter whether it would be, I don't know, Java or I don't know, React or whatever. The biggest challenge would be actually how scarce these data are, how much we have to handle, and how to make it secure and reasonable analysis behind it. Another one is in hospitals itself, right? So very little amount of doctors, very big amount of patients, and I don't know, everything that can automate or replace doctors or nurses in the hospitals, like robots, how to help and I don't know, automate some processes happening in the hospital, so that doctors and nurses can really focus only on those hardest cases. That would be the next trend. And final, I would say, education. And here probably augmented and virtual reality can help, right? So starting with training students with virtual world first, or semi-virtual, like with augmented reality, help them to, I don't know, operate with devices, help them to understand how surgery is going, train in virtual environment rather than learning on real patients first. And that probably would be the next trend as well. And we are seeing this already happening, right? So there are startups working on supporting surgeons and visualizing how the protocol during the surgery should go, or simulate, thanks to technology, simulate what effects can be brought during the surgery if doctor, I don't know, affects one or the other part of the body, of the brain, or any particular other part. Yeah, and that's where I see the technology. So yeah, there are probably much more.
Yeah, I see that we have not enough time to discuss it, and I'm
exactly
impressed how greatly, how wonderful you, in a nutshell, presented, the health tech industry. Because I can imagine that this is like just in a nutshell, because this is like the ocean subject. But I remember that there were questions from the audience, and maybe because you have 10 minutes, maybe now is the time and opportunity to answer to these questions. So Can we have some of them to see this on our screen? Justyna, can you help us here? So I hope. What focus are your organization giving to sustainability of the tech you produce and minimize tech waste? Oh, that's super interesting subject, especially that next to our next webinar will be about ecology and about ecotech industry. So how to minimize tech waste? Ladies, which of you would like to answer and present your point of view?
Well, maybe I can just start because I already know roughly what our technology can produce and how we minimize the time and general waste with a digital approach to current solutions. So after completing various projects with pharmaceutical and academia companies, we can say that our approach to the data could save between 30 and 70% in costs and can deliver the actionable insights 10 to 100 times faster. So if, for example, current approach of reading a scientific publication take 1-2 months, we can do it in 1-2 hours. Just to get exactly the same information structured, analyzed, and presented in a graph in front of you. And the same data you can use to eliminate a lot of waste in a wet lab validation. So if you already know some answers in advance and can compare the outputs from the previous experiments, you don't need to go at the wrong route and waste animal lives and all the costs associated with that validation. So this is something we have already proven, and this technology can definitely support this new move towards faster solutions and produce much faster medicine, not to waste 10-15 years, but there's possibility of doing it in 2-3 years. And this is a hope of many biotech companies who are supported by the digital solutions at their core. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. And I think that there was one more question. Oh, that's a long one. One final big question for all of the women. As a strong woman in IT, healthcare tech, and great role models for other women considering a role in tech industry, how can we encourage more women into health tech space? Great question. What advice do you have for younger women considering a role in health tech? Well, I think that it will be great summary of the webinar. So, Natalia, would you like to start?
Oh, wow. It's a very difficult question, actually, and very important as well. I think what I would recommend young women would be to not be afraid to start in this industry, because like for me, for example, at the beginning, it was very scary. Like I thought, I'm not a medical specialist, so how can I work in health tech industry? But then when you have an open mind, when you are open to learn new things, you can very quickly adjust and learn about this industry. So I think we shouldn't, as women, we shouldn't be afraid to go into this industry, because it's also very important. For example, at U Pacjenta, over 70% of our patients are women. So I think it's very important to have women in this industry and to create technology that is useful for women as well.
Yeah.
Do you have other opinions, girls?
Probably I can continue and I can share my own story, and that may be I don't know, inspiration for others. I used to work as data scientist. I was working for academia for many years, and actually I joined health
Joanna,
tech.
can you share with us your point of view?
Yeah, I just started that I can share my own story, because I used to work in the university for many years, and I am actually the sample or example of a person who joined the health tech. And I believe that for me, apart from the fact, and you are totally right, Natalia, that I was totally afraid of it, because this is a big change. But what I was looking for and what I found here in this industry is work with mission, right? So you are very close to solving real problems, and you have impact on people's life and health. And this is the best in everyday life. You are having challenges, you are having very hard problems to solve. You are struggling with regulations, with I don't know, with those data management and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you know that there are patients who, thanks to you, can live better, who can, I don't know, breathe normally, who can access healthcare. And this is the best price we can get every day. And women are very empathetic, and they are perfect for this work, right? So I really encourage everybody to join HealthTech and be with us in the field.
So I guess I will just add to the girls, because they said many valid points here. Myself, I have a business background in economics and finance, and I definitely didn't know that I will be involved in a health industry. It happened to be that I am, and I love it. And I can see that with my skills, I can still contribute to the changes in the industry and where it can go. You don't have to necessarily have a biology degree to work with health. You can contribute in many different ways. I think it's always important to have a balanced team. My male colleagues agreed to that certain characteristics that women have a great way how to balance the male skills, because we are currently working with legacy systems that were built for men by men, and we are slowly shifting to implementing a lot of female factor into many I guess decisions and processes. So coming into the industry now with, as Joanna said, empathetical view on how to resolve very hard questions and come up with very good solutions to serious problems. I think we do need more women, that's for sure. And definitely what Natalia mentioned, don't be afraid. I think it's important to make a first step and just do it. Just put yourself forward and don't be shy. You know, yeah.
Connect with us here in the Strong Woman, and we'll help.
Definitely, that's why we are here. So, ladies, thank you so much for this 1 hour discussion about the future of health tech. I have a feeling that we just, skip, just briefly went through with what's behind the industry. And I believe that everyone interested in the project, your projects, and in the topic can approach you on social media like LinkedIn, where we can also, of course, connect. So thank you so much. Wish you a wonderful evening. And next month, we are going to talk about ecology, tech waste, and how to run a company with at least, environment-friendly way. So thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.